So Undone and Simple Union released a collaboration for the Basecamp inspired bronze case. Now, if you're curious about the watch, please stay tuned because I'm going to give you the details on what I liked and what I didn't like about the watch. Undone, is it MU2 or is it MU2? Now, I'm not proud of this, but the bronze MU2 was a impulse buy on Facebook at 1 a.m. in the morning. Don't judge. So I ordered the watch on March 1st with an end of April delivery expectation. But then, of course, the great COVID crisis happened. So things started to get delayed. But Undone did a great job communicating a lot of these processes and delays. On April 3rd, I received an email from Undone saying that the order was being prepared. And on Monday, April 28th, I had received another email saying that I should be expecting a tracking number for FedEx in the coming week. Now, by May 7th, I received the package, and overall, I really do appreciate the efforts that Undone had gone through to communicate and set the expectations for when I should receive the package. So, great job, Undone. Now, for most of us, packages in the time of COVID are like precious airdrops of delight, and the package all the way from Hong Kong was no different. So after spraying it down and letting it simmer in my trusty disinfectant, and perhaps a few choice words for custom fees, welcome to the EU, package was ready to be opened. Now the package came in an Undone branded packing bag. It had a little bit more scuffs and scratches than I would have liked to have seen on a parcel containing a mechanical watch. So completely ignoring the prominent cut here lines, I moved on the unopened package like a chubby cheetah taking down a gazelle, and out from the bag came an unassuming brown box with the Undone Basecamp logo. Now after removing a layer of bubble wrap, out came the familiar Undone box for Basecamp that you see all over the internet, with a simple difference, right? We have the Undone and Simple Union logo on top. A bit more digging through the box and you go through the guarantee card and the simple manual. A bit more digging and you came to the watch, and out came the 1 a.m. Facebook impulse buy. And you can't tell, but I had a cheesy, chubby cheetah grin usually reserved for ice cream and watches. Now I definitely know that this watch is not for everyone. And the watch community has its fair share of micro-brand detractors. But for me, this unorthodox little limited edition bronze watch with a super unique strap from Simple Union had the exact look and feel that I was hoping for. So immediately after popping out the watch, your eyes get drawn to a whole bunch of different elements. First, it goes straight to the shiny bronze. Second, that blue dial with the 4 Chinese characters at the 10, 11, 1 and 2. Then of course, the repurposed indigo cloth strap with leather backing. And last but definitely not least, the glass case back showing the Seiko NH35 movement. Now some might say it's a little bit too much of everything. There's a whole lot going on. But I found all the little elements to be executed quite well by the Undone and Simple Union team. Now let's get something straight from the beginning. This is not for the minimalist amongst us. It's an attention-grabbing watch that reveals interesting facets of his personality the more you look at it and the more you stare at it. Now first, for its technical specifications. The watch is based on the Undone Basecamp, but MU2 is based on the CUSN8 phosphor bronze instead of the normal steel. You have a beautiful display case back featuring the 316L marine grade steel. It's 47mm lug to lug with 20mm lug width, so a great standard. 43mm width, including the crown, and thanks to the dome Lexan polycarbonate crystal, it measures a fat 15.5mm thick. With the Simple Union straps, the watch weighs about 77 grams, so not too bad for a bronze watch. The watch is pressure tested to 100 meters, and I haven't confirmed whether it's a mineral or a sapphire on the display case back. But if you know, please leave a comment below. Now on to the movement for the MU2. It's the workhorse Seiko NH35. For a lot of us Seiko fans, the NH35 is a familiar friend. It features 24 jewels, the automatic movement is about 21.6 thousand bph, which works out to be about 6 beats per second. It has a 41-hour power reserve with seconds hacking and manual hand winding. It's basically the familiar 4R35 that we see in a lot of the Seiko watches, and it seems to be the go-to automatic movement for a lot of the micro brands out there, including Undone. Now there's a lot going on with the aesthetics of this watch, and I'll try to unpack the different elements here. First, there's the Undone Kintsugi inspired Kyoto dial. The dial is an interesting blue with a slightly faded cloth feel. There's the distinctive Chinese characters on the upper half at 10, 11, 1, and 2, and numerals at 4, 5, 7, and 8. Now the Chinese characters represent the 3 characteristics of existence, a fundamental Buddhist principle. Now I'm only familiar with the Japanese pronunciation thanks to a short stint in Japan. But at the 10 o'clock you have ku, which is suffering. At 11 o'clock you have ku, which is emptiness. And then at 1 and 2 you have mujo, which is impermanence. Now we won't go into the philosophical details, but the Chinese characters that you see on the face of the watch make for a very interesting dial. And let's be honest, 10 o'clock, time for suffering, 11 o'clock, time for emptiness, and 1 and 2 o'clock being time for impermanence. It makes for a very interesting conversation. Excuse me, sir, would you happen to have the time? Yes, my good man, it's halfway past suffering and almost to emptiness. I know, keep my day job. Now the dial is called Kintsugi inspired because of the design that runs diagonally on the watch face from 7 to 8 o'clock to 1, 2 o'clock. This design is supposed to mimic a repaired crack in the style of kintsugi, a Japanese art of repair from the 15th century. Kintsugi is the art of skillfully repairing breaks and cracks in Japanese earthenware with urushi, lacquer, and then powdering it with silver or gold or platinum. For the rest of the dial, Undone marking is at the bottom along with the 2 lines of Japanese reading automatic winding and 100-meter water resistance. It features gold-colored Mercedes minute and hour hands and a lollipop second hand. Now the Chinese characters, numerals, markings are in green loom, and the Kintsugi-inspired lines through the middle of the dial are in blue loom. I have to apologize. I still have not gotten the knack of taking proper loom shots, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. And next, we go to the Katazome straps, which is the Simple Union contribution to this collaboration. I think what really makes this watch unique has to be the Simple Union repurposed indigo Katazome cloth. Now, Katazome is the traditional method of dyeing textiles using pattern stencils. The straps seem to use traditional fabrics dyed in indigo dye, and honestly, it makes for one of the most unique straps I've come across, with a mesmerizing combination of texture, pattern, and color from the old indigo fabrics. The Simple Union straps are backed by leather, no doubt to give strength and shape, and features a quick-release spring bar, which is very convenient, given that you have to be really careful with these straps. I think the last thing you want to do with these straps is to sweat through them on a hot summer day. So it's a good thing that you're able to kind of swap them out quickly with these quick-release bars. So what's my personal thoughts after owning the watch for a few weeks? Now, I'm usually a little weary of products that seem to jumble Asian cultures. Now, let me clarify what I mean by that. I was a bit put off by the marketing video, which features a mix of Chinese Buddhist aesthetics with Japanese narration, Japanese kintsugi, Japanese katazome, and the concept of wabi-sabi. Now, I don't care whether something is Chinese or Japanese. Both cultures have truly beautiful elements that should be celebrated. But when I'm thinking about buying a watch that is ambitiously trying to make something unique, I want to make sure that the creators will execute correctly without haphazardly dumping elements together without caring, what fits together. Now, I don't know what I was thinking on March 1st, 1 a.m., Facebook, don't judge. Despite being put off by the video, I went ahead and ordered the watch, and honestly, I'm really glad I did. Now, to frame my final thoughts, I went to a nice walk in the city center, armed with my mask and hand sanitizer. I have to admit it felt great being outside in the sun with a nice shiny bronze watch on my wrist. It was so nice to be able to enjoy the beauty of Luxembourg again. So what do I like about the watch? Well, number one, the CUSN 8 bronze. Yes, while the stadium seems to be filling up with more and more bronze editions, I like the base camp design and it's well executed for this bronze case. You add to this the nice conceptual tie-in between the wabi-sabi and the changes that will overtake this watch as time progresses. It's just a very good execution of concept and the element. Number two, the strap. I just can't say enough about how cool the Simple Union strap is. The texture, the color, the pattern of the strap just goes so well with the blue dial and the bronze case. The stitching and the execution of the handmade appeal, it's just perfect. And number three, the overall uniqueness. Now, if you like unique watches, I think the Undone and the Simple Union collaboration did an excellent job in putting together the different elements of the bronze, the kintsugi, the katazome, the Chinese characters to make a really eye-catching watch. And what did I not like about the watch? Well, one, the bezel. Yes, I know it's a base camp, it is not a diver model, and if I wanted a unidirectional bezel with a satisfying click, I should have waited for an aqua collaboration. Undone management. But really, it's such a nice case. And a bezel that is unidirectional and has that familiar clicking sound would be just a great touch, especially for a fidgeter like myself. Number two, it's the crown. Don't get me wrong, the screw down and the cool U make the bronze crown pretty cool. But I hate, and I mean hate, how difficult it is to grip this crown. I love hand winding watches, but with this crown I find it a pain. A bronze coin edge would have been such a huge improvement, function over form on this one. And number three, drilled lug holes. The strap is great, but it is definitely not something that I would pair with this watch every day. While the quick release spring bars are great, I'm dreading the tool marks on the lugs when I try to put something on with traditional pins. For the summer, warm and wet environments. Maybe I just need to get better at cleanly removing spring bars, but it's just an accident or a scratch waiting to happen. I started off doubting whether Undone could execute all these elements into a watch that fits together. I took a chance, ordered while crossing my fingers that I wouldn't end up with a cultural Frankenstein with disjointed elements and aesthetics. In the end, my fears were unfounded. Undone and Simple Union collaboration, the limited 300 pieces, really was a well-executed watch. And the more I spend time with it and the more I look at it, the more I get to enjoy some of the finer elements that make this watch really unique and eye-catching. So thank you Undone, and thank you Simple Union for putting this watch out. Here's hoping that you're keeping safe and that the road to easing of lockdown in your part of the world is going smoothly. Take care, and remember, whatever you're wearing on your wrist, you should continue doing you. In the immortal words of the great Humpty Hump of Digital Underground, do what you like. Peace.